Okay, we're recording. And there's no edit on this, Alex. So we're straight in. So
Really? Oh.
Exactly, we're straight in. So people will see it from this moment. No editing.
Okay.
That was one of the conditions that we said we're not going to get my lovely video guy Chris to edit anything. We're going to go straight in from the bat. Brilliant. This is now the next Street Soccer United podcast. I'm here today and delighted to be so with Alex Gordon. Alex is a partner and chartered tax advisor at Brachers solicitors in Kent. Where Alex, you specialise, I believe, in inheritance tax, trusts and estate planning. You're also president of the Kent Law Society and a Notary Public, whatever that means. We'll come back to that. But the purpose of this podcast, for those of you that are watching this that might not be aware, it's basically to get to know the person behind the role and the company. And Alex is a wonderful supporter of the Street Soccer Foundation. And it's really a chance for you to get to know Alex a little bit more on a personal level, see what kind of makes her tick, what she's about, where she's come from, and what plans she's got going ahead. So first of all, Alex, thank you so much for being on the show, as it were. I know you're very, very busy these days, exceptionally
not as busy as you.
Not having that. But it's lovely to obviously grab you for a catch up. And first of all, I mean, how's your morning been? Let's start a bit more informally. I mean, how's your morning been and how are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Morning's been okay. A few client meetings, and now I get to talk to you.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. It's coming down already. It's still the morning.
Yeah, it's getting worse as the day progresses. But no, it's been an average day, I'd say, for me. So normally a couple of client meetings, obviously all on Zoom, a day. And yeah, nothing too exciting today. But it's Friday, so.
It's Friday. It is indeed. It's what you should have said is it's getting better every minute because now you're on the podcast of Street Soccer.
It's getting better every minute, Keith.
But what I was trying to remember how we first met, because I know it was through another mutual contact of ours, the lovely Simon O'Connell, who's absolutely brilliant and another awesome supporter.
He makes a lovely soup.
He does. That's brilliant. That's got me now. Simon, you know we love you. But when was that? I mean, how long ago was that? Because I lose track of time. I'm a nightmare like that. Do you know?
It would have been a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, maybe even 3.
Could it be nearly 3 years ago? Wow.
I think it probably could have been. Yeah, close.
It was
in a Costa, I want to say. It was in a coffee shop. Other coffee shops are available.
Yeah. I know it was in West Malling in Kent. I do remember that because I parked miles away because I couldn't find the place. But Simon, I'm sure, will comment and help us out to tell us exactly when and where and what time it was. So thank you, Simon, in advance. But I've only ever known you, Alex, as and take this, please, take this. But I honestly, I've only ever known you as like a high flying, super achieving lawyer. And I just kind of wondered because I happened to pick up on the fact that back in 2014, you won some kind of junior lawyer of the year or whatever it was through the Kent Law Society or something.
It was, yeah.
And that was
done your research, Keith.
Yeah, I've done a bit of work. But so my first question really in that regard, it has this always, I mean, are you basically living the dream now? I mean, did you always want to be a lawyer? There you go. So that's the first question. Are you now living your dream?
Am I living my dream? Let's go. Yeah. I always wanted to be a pop star, and I'm not a pop star, so I'm not living my complete dream, I don't think, just yet. But I do need to learn to sing before that dream could potentially take off. But in terms of law, yes, I would say I'm living my dream. And did I always want to be a lawyer? I think I always did, based on like American TV shows, thinking I could wear a wig and argue with people in court. But reality is very different. So it took till I got to uni to realise I actually wanted to be a lawyer.
So I like the just yet, by the way, in that earlier answer. Just yet. So you still got the hopes of a pop star, which I can help you with. There's some people I know. One particular comes to mind is the brilliant Kevin Thorpe of Big Jam Studios, another massive supporter of ours. So we'll have to get you down the studio and get you singing. The second question then really is I want to sort of take you back a bit because some of our audience are those that we support through the academy program. So young adults who can be as young as sort of 17, 18. So in kind of late sort of teenage years. But what were you like, Alex, as a teenager? There you go. So come on, give us a bit of an insight into what you were like as a younger girl, as it were. What were you like growing up? I
was a massive tomboy. very sporty. My A levels were PE, maths, and law. Very different. Enjoyed PE the most. Very sporty, very into every sport pretty much. And wouldn't say I was the most academic. I think I didn't like school at all. Used to try and get out of it as much as I possibly could. So very good at working hard when needs must, which got me through.
Would you say you were popular at school as well?
Yeah, popular in the sporty. You have these cliques at school, don't you? So you have like the popular pretty people, and then you have the geeky people, and I was probably in the popular sporty gang, I would say.
Okay. And so are you still into your sports and stuff?
I am. I still play netball. Okay. I only really play netball properly now. Obviously it's coming back actually the end of this month. We're allowed to play again outside. So only that at the moment.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a little brief insight. So a tomboy. So is it ordinary, if that's the right word, for a tomboy to have kind of legal aspirations? Like, so growing up in that sense in the circles that you're operating in, were you the standout? Like, were you sort of, obviously, you must have been quite academically strong.
Yeah, if I tried, I was academically strong. So yeah, I don't think anyone would have guessed I would have been a lawyer at school. If you talk to any of my friends, I don't think they would have guessed I would have become a lawyer.
Are you still in touch with any of them, like from that
time?
Yeah,
a few. Obviously, I went to school in the times way before Facebook or any social media, so way before. Yes, in touch probably more now than maybe straight after school, just because of ease with social media.
Okay, fine. And what about so in terms of that progression that you had, and the kind of aspiration that you had, were there any setbacks along the way that you kind of came up against in terms of your kind of career goals? Did you ever think at any point that you're not going to become a lawyer, that you're not going to actually make it and achieve your dream?
Yep. So when it got to A levels, my AS levels, I don't know what they're called now, I did really well. Then it got to A levels and I messed up one of my exams. So it was a bit touch and go for a while as to whether I'd get on the degree I wanted to. But I did manage to get on the degree I wanted to, which was good. And that helped because I went to the University of Kent and they have a module where you can actually deal with real life cases with other lawyers as part of your degree. The academic side of a law degree is probably not for me. I'm good at learning stuff, but I didn't enjoy it. But the practical side, I absolutely loved. And so that was probably for me the point I knew I wanted to be a lawyer for real.
In that practical element, then, was there any occasions where people that you were speaking with, guiding, supporting, listening to, did you ever come across any negativity that people would sort of respond to you to sort of say, look, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're not going to make it, or you don't know what you're saying, or any kind of criticism that came your way, again, that you've had to then sort of shoulder and deal with?
Probably. I'm quite good at forgetting negative things that happen and concentrating on the positive. Yeah, I know. Oi, what are you trying to say? I take what people say with a pinch of salt. If I knew I wanted to do it, I'll do it. So
that's an awesome response, right? And I've got to ask you know me well enough by now, I'm sure, that where does that come from? So that's a real mindset attitude that you've got there. So where has that come from? Is that like sort of family members, parents, friends?
I think it's probably working in law. You've got to be quite resilient. It's tough, it's stressful. There's been some not so nice characters along the way, and I think when you're younger and naive, you take it really to heart. And so yeah, now I do what I do and
do it.
See what happens. Well.
Yeah, no, you do it exceptionally well. You don't see what happens. You do very, very well. You've touched upon the word resilient there, though, and there's no kind of real formal structure to my questioning. I guess I'll sort of respond to what you say, but in that, I'm going to, I guess, jump straight to more present, if you don't mind, because obviously in the last year it's been really tough for so many people. I would imagine, maybe you included, certainly it's been tough for me. And I've opened up with some of our young people about that as well. And our coaches and team, because it's a reciprocal discussion. You know, it's I think everyone to some level of degree has found it tough. And in terms of resilience, I mean, again, Alex, do you mind me asking yourself? I mean, I know it's personal, and you know, you'll have your own ways of coping about stuff, or you've been fine and you've been flying through the year with no problems or issues whatsoever, which would be amazing to hear. But just in that regard, do you mind sharing a little bit about how you've kind of got through this last 12 months in general terms? I mean, happy to by and share with whatever you're happy to, but give us an insight into how you've coped and got through the challenges that have obviously been faced. You know, a lot of people have been faced with.
I'd say it was a little bit like this.
Okay.
So in the beginning, it was all a bit new and exciting, and I was on lockdown a week before everyone else in the firm because I was in France when everything closed down. So I found that I was a little bit out of sync with everyone else. So when I was happy, they were all a bit low, and vice versa. So it was all a bit of a novelty to begin with. We deal with a lot of death and people putting wills in place. So when things started getting more severe, work got really, really busy. And it was just trying to do what you could do for clients and also the team. We've got a big team. There's probably about 25 of us, making sure everyone was supported because everyone was at home rather than seeing each other every day. So it did take its toll, definitely. I don't recall seeing the sun. Everyone keeps talking about the weather, how lovely the weather was last year. I don't recall seeing it Monday to Friday at all. I wouldn't leave my desk in daylight hours. So it did take its toll during the year. And then I suppose when we could start coming back into the office in August time, it started getting better because I could see people again, which was nice. But Christmas, massively had burnt out by Christmas. I slept the whole of the Christmas holidays. Did not get up. I think I got dressed once. Absolutely burnt out. But I probably expected after the year that it was.
In that sense, did you mentioned about the team that you have around you. Have you got kind of support typically that you can call upon at any given time, or do you tend to sort of shoulder a lot on your own and deal with it on your own?
No, we're really lucky. Our team's brilliant, really, really brilliant. We've got people in the team who've been at the firm for 30 years or so, right down to two people started the first week of lockdown. And actually, as a team, we've become really, really closer than we've ever been throughout this time because everyone's put in such an effort to put on events. We've had gin tastings, we've had virtual nights at the pub, we've had some really good events, and so I think everyone knows each other a bit better now, and everyone's just been really supportive. So yeah, I've been very lucky.
Well, I know also, see, I'm going to say this with a wry grin because of all your previous comment about me doing my homework, because I have done my homework on you. I picked up on also that you've got this mental first aider qualification about you, and that you have, I believe, and or still maybe currently mentor kind of law students, through the Kent Law School, I believe. And is that in that regard as well, kind of supporting others in that context? Is that something that's just close to your heart generally? Is that how you're made up as a person? You like to support others in times of need, or even just to guide them and mentor them generally?
Yeah, definitely. I think I was really lucky when I was probably about 3 years qualified onwards. I had an amazing mentor who I still annoy to this day, even though we don't work together. So I was really lucky. So if I can do anything like that for other people, then it's quite nice to give back, isn't it? Also with law, it's such a stressful career. There was some horrible research done. Well, not horrible, the research was good, but the results were horrible. 2019 about junior lawyers and the mental health they suffer and the percentage that felt suicidal is just absolutely horrendous. So my theme this year, if you can call it a theme, for Kent Law Society is to do as much as we can for mental health and well-being. So last year we put on a series throughout the whole of lockdown 1, which was thought up by my colleague Sophie, and we did not just psychological well-being, we did financial well-being, we did physical well-being. There was something every week on a different topic, which was really great. And then in January this year we did something similar, kind of like a bite-sized version, which you featured in twice. So we're just trying to do as much as we can to support junior lawyers through Kent Law Society. We've also set up a buddy scheme. It's called Buddy Up. So we've buddied up junior lawyers with senior lawyers across different firms in Kent. There's about 44 people on that scheme. So it's just to kind of support the junior lawyers as they come into the world of law and give them a friendly ear, a friendly face to listen to, if they've got any problems.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that resonates really massively with me because, like, anyway, Alex, but we're sort of keen on, I guess, reaching out to our supporters, and for those that are keen and willing and able to make the time to create these mentoring opportunities for those that we bring through the academy now. So going forward, speaking on behalf of the foundation, we've got now, thankfully, upcoming academies across the country where, we're looking to bring together these groups of young people, which we're going to find out just how severe they've kind of been and what they've been through, because they were already vulnerable before the lockdown, and I think, a lot of this digital support we've been giving has been to those that we've known and been supporting, but now we're going to have new sets of young people that are not known to us. So I think mentoring is going to be a big part of our support and aftercare as well. So all power to you. I mean, you've touched upon the kind of stress levels within law. Are you able to describe a typical day for you? Like, what does that look like for Alex Gordon? I mean, what is it? And how long is it? I mean, you've talked about you didn't even see daylight for most of last year.
You've told me I can't swear, though, so
you can't swear.
I can't give you a full insight into my day.
I said we can't edit anything, otherwise Chris will be putting bleeps every other word. But no, so what's your language, Mrs. Ramsey?
Emails, I think, are the most problematic. So I could probably spend all day just replying to emails, but none of that is probably actually my job. My job is on a to-do list, which I hide from myself because it stresses me out. It's on like 4 pages at the moment of things I have to do. So it's a balance, I think, because we're private clients, so we are seeing clients virtually a lot still to take instructions for wills, for example, inheritance tax planning, things like that. But then the work that comes out of it is drafting. So there needs to be quiet time, I like to call it, to actually get the work done. But it's really hard when you've got emails constantly. And I think it's been harder maybe during this last year because a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people have been, say, furloughed or have had more time on their hands, and therefore I think expect responses quicker, when the reality for us is our workload's probably doubled. So there's no let up. So it's really hard, and I don't like being chased. I like being the one to get to the client first and then go, oh, thanks, I wasn't expecting to hear from you, rather than I emailed you 10 minutes ago and I haven't received a response. I'm like, yeah, so did the rest of the world. Give me a minute.
I'm so pleased in the lead up to this podcast, you hardly heard from me. I'm so I'm so grateful for that now that you said that to me. I mean, I thought it's just me, classic me, being me. Okay, wow. I mean, God, I mean, within that given context again, though, is there any kind of standouts for you, like over the career that you've had to date? You've got plenty ahead of you, by the way, I hasten to add. But what are you most proud of at the moment, Alex? Like you've because I know you've achieved a hell of a lot, and I'm well aware of that. But for those that don't know you, outside of Kent, perhaps, what are you most proud of and why, would you say?
Oh, that's a hard question.
You're welcome.
It's a really hard question. Can I have more than one thing?
Of course you can.
Okay, thanks. So becoming a partner at Brachers was a big step for me. And for them taking a chance on me coming straight in as partner, that doesn't normally happen. So that was a big moment for me.
Are you the youngest partner or something like that? One of the youngest.
I won't be the youngest of all time because I know who is of all time, but probably the youngest at the moment in the partnership. We've got a really young partnership, actually. The majority are between, I don't know, late 30s to mid to late 40s, which is quite unusual for a law firm. And there's 30 of us. So it's a really young, dynamic team. So that's definitely one of them. Qualifying as a notary is probably up there in that I had to, oh God, I think actually I probably bored you about Roman law back in the day.
Oh yes.
I do some ridiculous exams, and they were really hard. Like who wants to learn about Latin and Roman law? Not me. So that was really hard. And then the second lot of exams were during lockdown, so we didn't get any face-to-face teaching. So I found that quite hard. And then starting up as a notary has been really challenging because it's very different to being a lawyer. But
what is it? Those that are not aware, what is a notary?
So it's
a big deal, isn't it? It's a big deal. What you've now got.
Yeah, I think there's about 850 in the country. So it's authenticating documents for use overseas. which sounds really simple because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is signing it and stamping it. But there's a lot of work that goes into it to make sure the document's correct, and that's all on you. So if anything goes wrong, that document's going around the world and it's coming back on you if there's anything wrong in it. But I've got an amazing supervisor, Lindsay Sharp. So I've even messaged her this morning. I annoy her daily and go, what do I do? What do I do? She's been amazing. So that's two. I'm trying to think what else. I've had a good couple of years, I would say. Like, I'm most proud of actually, I'll tell you what I am proud of. Sophie in my team. This one of my proudest moments. Sophie's doing amazing. And we've got our fingers crossed that she's up for some awards this year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good on Sophie. Awesome. Well, but what about then? So what sort of advice would you have then, for example, for maybe a younger person who is looking to start out, maybe get their first job or thinking about what career to move into, and for some bizarre unknown reason they're really keen on Latin and really long words and therefore want to be a lawyer? But what would
do it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the advice. That's the key advice. Don't do it. What would you say though? For I mean, do you have to be super smart to be a lawyer? First of all, do you have to be really academically solid? And or if not, what advice would you give someone, like, you know, if they were looking at this as a pathway?
I would say look at all the options. It's very different now to have a career in law. When I did it, it was a law degree and then law school training contract. I keep mentioning Sophie. She's done it in a completely different way. She's done the legal executive route, and then my secretary Chloe is going to be starting her exams soon. So she came straight from school in to become I think she was an apprentice first, then a secretary, legal secretary, and now she's going to start her exams to become a qualified lawyer. So there's loads of different ways in now that don't involve university, which I think's really good because of the cost. I mean, I was one of the last, I think, to get away with the cheaper university fees, but the amount of debt that people are coming out with. So just look at the alternative options, I would say. And there's loads of different careers in law. It's not just to become a solicitor. You can be barristers. There's lots of opportunities.
So,
and if you meet someone, take them up if they ever offer you help. So when I used to advise for the Kent Law Clinic at the University of Kent, every session I would give my business card to the students. Wow. And probably 2 over the years actually emailed me. And of those 2, I made sure I went out of my way to give them work experience or help them with their CVs. But if someone offers you that, snap it out of their hands.
It's amazing advice. What is your personal feeling as to why the uptake was so low? Obviously don't take that personally, because you read into that very weirdly. No one likes me, or no one liked what I had to say. But on a serious though, do you think is it a lack of confidence on the younger party's side, or what would you say? Why?
Maybe. You always get a few who are just confident and ballsy, and they will just drop you an email and say, "Hi, I saw you at this webinar," and you think, "Well, God, if I had done that when I was at uni, I would have had a lot more contacts." So I just think, good on you for taking the initiative to do that. So I will go out of my way to help you if I can.
Has there been for you, Alex? Like, I mean, you've touched upon like on a couple of previous answers, but have you got anyone that's been sort of particularly influential for you in terms of, not so much maybe a mentor type for you, but someone who you maybe look up to and are inspired by, and maybe why is that?
Yeah, my old boss, Harvey Barrett at Furley Page. So since I joined Furley Page, he literally just pushed me, and I'd say crazy things like, I want to be a chartered tax advisor, and he'd say, go for it. And I'd say crazy things like, I want to be a Notary Public, and he'd go for it. So he was always pushing me to be better. But also we had a laugh along the way. He's a big Rihanna fan, likes to rap. We've definitely been chased by the police in a car before. I've overly exaggerated that story, but I'll make sure he listens to this because it will make him laugh.
I love that. So that it's brought me back to mental health issues. I'm joking, Harvey. I love you. No, don't take that personally. But so I guess interlinked with that though. Again, thinking about the time that we're in right now, and hopefully we're going to be coming out of this period gradually as things start to ease up and restrictions start to lessen. What do you think have been your personal kind of key learnings from what you've been through and what we've all been through? What have you personally picked up on the most, and what maybe are you going to be doing differently?
I've probably learned, which is very obvious, I am but one person. So there is a limit to what I can do and what I can do well. Also, a very wise lady told me that I will never finish my to-do list. That is a lawyer's thing. You never finish it, not even before you leave firms or go on holiday. So I shouldn't try to finish it every day, which is just impossible. So I think I've learnt to be more patient with myself, maybe be kinder to myself, and just do what I can, and smile a lot more. And because I think it's when I'm in a mood, if I then speak to someone more junior in the team, I've got to learn that then rubs off on them. So trying to be happy as much as I can, even if inside I want to scream.
Oh no. It's a really interesting point that you make there, because again, you know, a lot of the work that we do is all around mindset and kind of your inner self-talk and inner self-belief and your self-discipline, and you know, the way you perceive yourself, and that, I guess, kind of cognitive behavior therapy stuff. You know, the sort of thoughts lead to actions, lead to outcomes, and it reinforces that belief. And without going overboard on that, I think, you know, added to the stresses and difficulties that we've all been through, plus then on top of that, the kind of career that you have that is generally quite stressful and pressurized. I think, you know, the importance of your mental health is so acute now, and everyone's talking about it, I know, and I don't want to jump on the bandwagon unnecessarily. But I think, you know, people now more are generally aware of it. And I think the obvious is the physical health, i.e. get to the gym, get on the street soccer club called Challenge that Brachers and you did, which I must say, I've got to give a quick, I had to get that in somehow. Thank you so much for your support on that. And
Winners.
Elliot, I mean, seriously, if he watches this, make sure he does watch it. Elliot, I'm bowing down. Amazing. Just for anyone that doesn't mean anything, Elliot basically pretty much did the whole thing on his own. No offense,
and he's doing it again on his own.
And he's doing it again. But this cruel challenge that we've got is going around all 20 Premier League stadiums as a virtual challenge. But you know, do you think, Alex, I mean, conclusion to the point I was trying to make is, how important actually do you think your own personal mental health is, and people's mental health is, and what do you do, and are you more aware of it for yourself in terms of how you're looking after yourself, you know, in your mind and your mental state, as well as obviously your physical aspect?
It's the most important thing for me. I'm a lot more aware of it now, so I can tell at the moment I am on the road to burnout at the moment, but I know that now, so I am making sure I'm not working crazy hours, except for last night when I was interrupting the football, messaging you, asking you what questions you would ask me. I am gonna cut down.
I was gonna let you off. I was gonna let you off that. See, look at this, I was gonna let you off.
I can see it coming a bit better now. And I think everyone else is more aware of everyone in the team. And I think it's a lot more common than people think. The people in the team who maybe struggle are in the majority rather than the minority. But we do as much as we can. Like, for example, I was saying to you about clients, sometimes they can be quite stressful and demanding. Every week now we have Client Corner, where we share how unreasonable requests have been over the course of the week, and we all laugh about it together, because what else can you do? So we're just trying.
I hope client confidentiality is part of that.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, thank you for sharing that. I mean, because it's obviously everyone's kind of talking about it, but it will resonate with a lot of people. I think they will watch this on the back of what we've all been through, like I mentioned. I mean, what about outside of work, Alex? I mean, parking all the serious stuff and the law stuff, and not to be very flippant, because it sounds flippant, I don't mean to be that way, but what about you as an individual in terms of any hobbies or interests? I mean, what do you get up to if you find any minute of the day, which doesn't sound like you do, but if you grab hold of any kind of social time, what do you love to do? I mean, as a person, what are you into? What do you do apart from singing badly
and annoying you when England are playing, apparently? What do I like to do? I think I've learned that pre-COVID, I would be at networking events, as probably you would be, most evenings of the week. And I've actually learned that I really enjoy doing nothing. Really enjoy it. Loving Netflix. Who knew how good Netflix was? Netball, seeing people. Obviously, I know we can't see people properly now, but going for walks with people when it's been allowed. Yeah, enjoying the more simple things in life, maybe. And enjoying not being manic, and really enjoying not worrying about someone saying, "Are you free this weekend?" Because I know I am free, rather than going, "Oh, no, I'm definitely triple booked that weekend. Can we make another one?"
Yeah, yeah. I hear you, as it were. My kind of signature question then, my kind of ending question is kind of linked to your immediate future, and it's almost a kind of a discussion around your sense of purpose. So what would you say right now is kind of, I mean, you've gone through a whistle stop tour of where you've got to at the moment, and you've achieved a hell of a lot, Alex. And on a serious, I mean, I'm really proud of you, and I will say that live on this podcasting, and I've told you that privately anyway, but I do watch you in awe, honestly, sometimes with what you achieve, honestly, and I mean that sincerely, and I've shared that with other people that we know, collectively. But kind of today and tomorrow, what would you say kind of kicks you out of bed? I know you have to a degree, because you've got a job, and you've got a very responsible role, and people rely on you to do the job that you do so well. But for you personally, what is your sense of purpose? What does drive you each day, and what are kind of your immediate goals ahead? What are you looking to achieve?
So with my notary, I'm trying to build that up, and just get a little bit better at it, so I don't have to ask Lindsay questions constantly. So it's quite daunting. I like to know everything, so it's really daunting being at the early stage of that side of my career. We opened an office in Canterbury, Brachers did, the week before lockdown last year. So that's a big priority. I'm always worked in Canterbury, always been in Canterbury since I went to university, so this is home for me, so that's really exciting, and I'm just looking forward to other people being back so that we can catch up and make a bit more of a big splash. And then I suppose, well, there's loads going on, Keith. I'm tired thinking about it.
Well, I can help you out. Let's just get you in a studio. Let's get you in a studio, record your album.
I'm not singing. You'll lose fans. My presidency, I've got a year left still, so doing some more with that. And then I suppose it's now building up the next generation. I'm not Harvey, and I never will be as amazing as Harvey is, but hopefully I can help shape the next lot of lawyers coming through in the team, so that they can take the pressure off a bit and help me.
Love that. No, I mean, obviously I've not had the pleasure to meet Harvey, but you are incredibly inspirational for a lot of people, so I'm sure you'll do Harvey proud in that sense. Alex, it's been really so lovely talking to you. In that regard of what you just mentioned there, how, in terms of contacts and connection, how can people people that are going to come across this, how can they get in touch with you online, or what's the best way of getting in touch with you?
LinkedIn or email. My email's alexandragordon@brachers.co.uk. You can find me on the website. But yeah, LinkedIn as well. I'm always on LinkedIn. I'd say it's my favorite form of social media.
Yeah, well, it's a decent one to have as a favourite, because there's a lot of nonsense out there, in my personal opinion. But no, it's great, and we'll obviously put some links into the cast when we share it online. But I thank you so much. I mean, we've reached an end. I mean, that's been awesome. It's been really lovely, as I say, a whistle stop tour around you as an individual, and where you've come from, where you're at, and where you're going. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll put this live later on this afternoon, and we'll share it across our channels, like I say, and it will go into our supporters, partners and sponsors, and as importantly, our young people that we support nationwide. So really want to thank you for your time today. It's been lovely.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to catch up with you, Alex.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Right.
I wasn't sure if you'd press stop